Um, and let me go ahead now and get everyone checked in. So looks like I have an Anthony here with us today. Is that Anthony Hicks? Sir, if you could just unmute, let me know who you're representing here today. While Mr. Hicks is trying to find the unmute, let's go to Robert. Robert, you with us? If you could unmute. Robert, if you could unmute. Looks like Anthony's unmuted now. Anthony, can you hear me?
I can, yes, sir.
Great. And is it Anthony Hicks?
It is, yes.
Okay, great. And who are you representing here today or here on behalf of?
Reliable Building Solutions and Robert Haley.
Okay, great. Welcome. Robert?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Robert. Robert, can you give me your last name?
Haley, Haley.
Okay, and it looks like I have you down here as the owner of the property. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, welcome. See that we also have Wes Menzel from the City Zoning Department. Hi, Wes.
Morning.
Morning. On the applicant owner side, are we expecting anyone else to join us here today? So anyone we need to wait for? No? Okay. All right. So before we get started, I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. So, excuse me. This is the June 28th, 2023 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us today is case number ZH20230078. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would then have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. For our purposes here today, I'll allow either Mr. Haley or Mr. Hicks to tell me about this project. I mean, one or both of you can speak on this project, but essentially would like to hear some background, what your plans are, and then of course, why you think that the relief that you're requesting today is appropriate and why I should grant it. Again, if there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I'll hear from Wes Menzel, the zoning plans examiner for the city. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. I'll have some questions along the way. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I will do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. If there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. The last thing I need to do here is swear in all of our witnesses. If you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if you believe that is you, I would ask you to raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do, yes.
I do.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right. Who would like to take the lead here today on the presentation and tell me about this project?
I will start. Robert Haley recruited us to help him with a build. He bought the property there in the Hillside District. And, going through the designs, we went through a couple concepts after conferencing with Weston and getting some recommendations from the geotech engineer to move the property a little bit closer to the road. in line with the rest of the homes there, and then incorporate a walkout basement. So basically, this is going to be his residence, and it's going to be. We're asking for relief because we want to position it on the property line, adjacent to the property to the north. The property owner there has purchased that lot and doesn't plan to develop it, and seems to be in agreement with it. So beyond that, we're just looking to build Robert Haley's dream home there.
Great. Couple quick questions. So it looks like there is setback relief. You'll need left and right side setback relief here. What are the proposed setbacks for the left and right side?
5 feet, I believe. Is that right, Weston?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute there. So the left side setback is proposed to be 4.4 feet, and the right side setback is 1 foot.
Gotcha. Okay. And all right. Is that Mr. Hicks, do you believe that's consistent with the development patterns in the neighborhood?
It's not. The setbacks seem to be consistently respected in the area. Where we see the exception is because between two houses there were 2 lots, and one of the lots was purchased by the owner with no desire to do any future development. So we're asking for that concession, and then maintaining as much of the south side setback as we can, which would be consistent with some of the other homes there.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're essentially saying the fact that there's a vacant lot next to the subject property, it sort of skews what the setbacks actually are with the properties that have homes on. Is that right? Or
Yeah, we believe that because that vacant lot is purchased by that owner with no intention to develop, that, asking for this concession might pose some merit. Yeah.
got it. Okay. And then I see that you're also asking for cut and fill relief of 2 feet. Can you talk some more about that? Why it's necessary?
Yeah, actually, we moved the lot forward and incorporated a walkout basement to eliminate any concerns for engineered fill. Because originally the slab, it was going to be a ranch slab, but the elevation would require so much fill that there was no value to doing that versus just creating more square footage to the home.
Gotcha. Okay. So that necessitated the additional cut fill relief.
I believe it does, yes.
Let's see. Will this project create any like cliff-like vertical slopes or excessively high retaining walls or anything like that?
I shared in the thumb drive a copy of the geo report, and you can see that the position of the new home is generally located where it is. In our cleaning of the debris discovered in the geo report, we've actually found the old foundation. And so we don't believe that our development is going to create any more or less of a cliff than what was there before. There's a retaining wall there at the back of the property, and that retaining wall is intact and is intended to remain undisturbed. And beyond that, there was no previous development or alteration to the property.
Gotcha. Okay. So there was a former house on this lot. When was that house removed? Do you know?
I don't have that in my memory, but I believe it's in the geo report. I remember, so I can scan that for you if you need it.
No, I just don't have it at hand here, but I can
Okay.
find it if it was part of your initial submission. Um, okay. Let's see. Did you have to remove any additional like vegetation or mature trees in order to, or will you have to in order to build a home?
No,
Looks like the back of the lot has got some trees and some woods there. Is that right?
it is, and all that will remain undisturbed.
Okay. All right. How much topographic relief is on this? And this again might be something that's in the geo report, but how steep is the slope on the property?
It drops approximately 10 feet. I'm zooming in now. Yeah, it's approximately 10 feet. Yep, right at it.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to say at this time? Mr. Hicks?
No, there's not.
Sure. Okay. Great. Mr. Haley, anything you wanted to add?
Not really. It's just that there were actually two properties on that lot, and the city demolished the properties, and it was vacant. There was no value to the land. It's just my intent to add value to the land and the community. It would be my residence. I'm an empty nester, so I won't be moving to a bigger place. So that's all I have to offer, just to try to increase value to that community.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Haley.
Mhm.
Wes, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just kind of highlight that the house footprint is about 3/4 of the house footprint is outside of the hillside overlay. Just the back portion is in the hillside overlay. So the topography is relatively, gentle sloping the front of the lot. And then the lot to the left is wider, so that skews the averaging that you were asking about earlier. And as someone alluded to, there was a former house there that was demolished and removed, and so there's a lot of fill material where the old basement was, and so this house overlaps that substantially, and so the excavation is really just excavating the fill that was already in there, and then they're using piers below that to get to the bedrock due to the unstable fill that was inputted. So I think those are some mitigating factors that kind of help their request. That I
Sure.
thought I should highlight.
I mean, just sort of informally kind of looking at the street view image here on Google, it looks, is it the case that the front of the lot is relatively flat and it starts to slope as you get towards the rear?
Yeah, I think the slope begins maybe halfway to 3/4 back through their footprint of the house, and it goes down from there to the rear of the. I mean, the lot is really deep, so
Yeah.
they've chosen
It's
to put the house,
approximately
kind of at the front, so it's compatible with the other houses, on the street.
Sure. Okay.
we've come a long way. At one point, we were going to try to put it as far back as possible.
That'd be in the woods, right?
Yeah, Robert said, "No, I don't want to live in the woods."
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Wes, is there anything else you wanted to add here?
I will just concur that they originally started with just a slab on grade, and then they required the fill, as Anthony mentioned. And so the excavation actually probably makes it a little bit, a better project, because they're using the piers down to the bedrock instead of just putting a slab on top of unstable fill. So I think that helps the long-term prognosis of any construction there.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Wes. Mr. Hicks, Mr. Haley, anything you all would like to say in closing or otherwise, or in response to anything that Wes said?
Not at this time. It's consistent with what we've basically knew or perceived all the time. That's why we're here. Just to present this to you, to let you know the modifications that have been made to be in accordance with your requirements. And I think we fulfilled that in order to move forward with this project.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Hicks, anything?
No, I have nothing to add to that.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys looking into it for us.
Sure. So let's go ahead and just leave it at that then. I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I am going to approve the requested relief. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing that that'll take typically about 2 weeks. I think that's a, excuse me, a reasonable estimate based on the current queue of cases that I have at the moment. I'll do everything I can to get that out to you as soon as possible. If you have any questions or like a status update on that decision between now and 2 weeks, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to provide you with an update or answer any questions you may have. As soon as I finish that decision, what I do is I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody in the hearing. So you all will have a copy of that decision really just moments after it's complete. Once you have that, Wes Menzel can approve the permitting for the zoning on his end. Any questions about that process or anything else?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Well, best of luck with the project. And hope you all have a wonderful day. We are adjourned.